Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. My name's William. This is a set of Corsa Competizione. Today we're going to be driving the Aston Martin V8 Vantage GT4. My second car to drive so far in the GT4 pack. Um, the most beautiful car, in my opinion, in the GT4 pack. Um, I love the way this Aston Martin looks, especially without all of its super aggressive GT3 aero. It's just got that rear wing on it and that little bit of a rear diffuser and everything. It's really nice on this car, in my opinion. Um, Not the most exciting sounding car from my opinion. You'll be able to hear it in the Hotlap, which will come up after this. But my initial impression of the car was just that it felt pretty heavy on the front end. Once especially on cold tires, but once the tires come up to temperature and start to build a little bit more pressure, it does get better, but it does still feel a lot heavier than something like the A110. Still not exactly getting the most feedback through the wheel, but the feedback I'm getting is pretty positive. I can feel what the tires are doing when I'm pushing the car a little bit too hard, anyways. Um, and they're not going to comply with what I'm asking it to do. So that was very positive. Um, the other thing I will say about this car initially was just it does feel really good on the brakes, and it also seems to be quite fast in the straights. Not sure if that's going to be something setup related or just differences in the cars. I'm really hoping it's differences between cars so that we can have different makes making speed in different ways around a track, as that always makes it a lot more fun to race these cars, which is what this is all about at the end of the day. Hot lapping, you might not notice, but in a race situation, that makes them a lot of fun to actually drive against other people. So hopefully that is true. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and shut up, let you guys listen to a hot lap, so you can kind of get a sense of what the car sounds like, and then after the hot lap, I'll show you the adjustments you can make on the setup if you're kind of into setups or. If you're into setups like me, that's something people don't really show whenever these new packs or new cars or whatever come out. So I'll just kind of go through and show you what you can adjust, some of the ranges, stuff like that. So check that part out if you're interested in it. If not, enjoy this hot lap, and we'll be back to do another video or another car before too long. Enjoy. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that hot lap. around the Nürburgring in the Aston Martin V8 Vantage GT4. I did go quite a bit faster than I went in the A110, but it felt a lot faster on the straightaway. Definitely, this car does feel more like a boat, in my opinion, and lap times are not really something I want to get into too much just yet. It's like first day, obviously, still a whole lot to figure out with these cars, but it is very straightforward to drive. Even the traction control on the lowest setting, no problem with the grip. The one thing I will say I noticed immediately was how much quicker the tires came up to temperature, as I never really got them properly up to temperature in the A110. But in this car, end of the first lap out of the pits, the tires were already up to temperature, just building pressure from that point on. So I wonder if this car is going to be a little bit harder on its tires compared to some of the lighter GT4 cars. It'll be interesting to see how that kind of plays out, but you could definitely feel this car was a bit heavier, but also had quite a bit more power, so that was nice for sure. And it's a beautiful car. I mean, like just looking at this car, absolutely love it. But anyways, the aggressive preset is what I was driving on. Just actually don't know what I changed for that to pop up. I think it was a brake bias adjustment kind of while I was just running to see what was what, but you can basically change everything as you could on the A110, but I'll go ahead and go through it in case you didn't see that one. So all of these can be adjusted on this car here. Not really too surprising there. You get 11 ABS settings in this car and 8 traction control settings and no ECU setting, same as the A110. Front brake pad, rear brake pad adjustment, you can still definitely make that on these GT4s, as well as anti-roll bar adjustments, wheel rates, bump stop rates. Um, you have less of a range on these, as I think you should, but yeah, you could definitely make those adjustments. Kind of just lower ranges all the way around on everything except for the electronic aids for the most part, um, as well as the differential preload. Just once again a smaller range, but no bump stop range adjustments here. Um, it is locked in on 0 and it cannot be adjusted, same as the fast bump and fast rebound for the front and rear. Cannot be adjusted, but you can adjust the bump and rebound for the front and rear on the car. You have quite a bit of ride height to play with on the car. No splitter on this car. Again, we'll see. I don't think that's going to be a thing on the GT4s, but we'll see if one or two cars maybe have it. I'm not quite sure yet. Like I said, I would expect it to be none, but it is on some of the GT3 cars, so just because it's not on this Aston Martin doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Um, quite, uh, quite a range of ride height on the rear as well, and just 5 wing settings for this car with adjustable brake duct kind of blocking as well as you would expect. So anyways, that is the Aston Martin V8 Vantage GT4. Um, Pretty fun to drive. I actually didn't have as much fun driving this as the A110. Um, but having said that, I think that's just from the fact that this car understeered a little bit more. It's a little bit heavier and it's got a lot more power. um, it also wasn't very lively on the throttle, not a whole lot of, it was just pretty easy to drive, I guess I would say. It wasn't very demanding or anything like that. So overall, it's a great looking car. It sounds nice. It felt pretty darn quick in the straights. Um, no complaints really from me on how it drove. Just it was just a little bit easy. So maybe jump into this one if you're just kind of wanting to get the feel of how these things drive. It is a little bit of a boat, like I said. It understeers a little bit, just a touch, with the aggressive preset, anyways, in my opinion. But um, uh, yeah, really docile and overall, I would say it was fun to drive. Just it didn't really challenge me at all. So hopefully you guys enjoy. We'll be back to do another car soon. So until then, bye bye.